Would you die for your children? Not metaphorically, but in the most literal sense. Because she would, and does. Meet Stegodyphus lineatus. She digests her own organs while her eggs are still forming inside her, dissolving from the inside out. By the time her spiderlings arrive, she is well along into converting herself into food for her babies. Everything she is will be poured into her children. The genus Stegodyphus itself contains roughly 23 described species, and what makes the genus remarkable in the wider world of spiders is that it includes both subsocial and fully social species. Unlike most spiders, females of this species actually tolerate their offspring, care for them with careful devotion, but are not as social as their cousins Stegodyphus mimosarum, where multiple spiders share webs and cooperate in hunting. This is the life of Stegodyphus lineatus, a small spider found in the deserts and scrublands of the Mediterranean and Middle East. She is a member of the velvet spider family, Eresidae, a group distinguished by their extremely furry cuticles and the silken tubes they live in. She is not large. Females grow only 1 or 2 centimeters in body length, and males only about 1 centimeter. And yet, she represents one of the most extreme reproductive investments of any animal on Earth. She is found in southern Spain, eastward to Israel, where most of the biology of this spider has been documented, with some populations as far west as Central Asia. Wherever she is found, it is dry and hot. She builds her silken home in low shrubs, nests made of sheets of capture silk attached to a cone-shaped silken tube. The web itself is constructed and repaired exclusively at night. Working in darkness reduces water loss, and she avoids the lethal heat of the day. The life of a male Stegodyphus lineatus is very different from the female. Adult males appear in spring and take advantage of a short reproductive window. Unlike females, who tend to remain in their webs once established, males wander. They may have their own webs early in adult life, but the pressure of finding a mate before the season ends drives them to abandon those webs and travel overland in search of females. Females of this species release pheromones to attract searching males. A virgin female emits signals to draw males in, while a mated female begins suppressing those signals in an attempt to reduce male interest and, more importantly, to reduce the risk of what males are capable of when they arrive at an already occupied nest. When a male finally locates a receptive female's web, he does not simply rush in. He begins a courtship display consisting of deliberate, rhythmic tapping on the surface of her web. The purpose of these vibrations appears to be appeasement. The female is a vicious predator, and an unannounced male stumbling into her nest risks being killed. By announcing himself, he makes himself marginally safer. Females will mate with multiple males across the season. After mating, males do not immediately leave. They remain in or near the female's nest for several days, behaving like an overall bum. Males steal prey caught in her web. Females respond by stopping web repair during male cohabitation to avoid investing further in infrastructure that the male is helping himself to. It is a parasitic arrangement that the female tolerates because the cost of aggressively evicting a male may be too risky for her well-being. The reason mated females turn off their pheromones to hide from males is because males tend to engage in infanticide. Because males and females do not mature at exactly the same time, some males reach adulthood and begin searching for mates after most females have already mated and begun guarding their egg sacs. These late arriving males face a problem. The females they find aren't interested and already have babies on the way. The solution is for the male to destroy the egg sac. He uses his chelicerae to detach the silken egg sac from the nest, drags it to the nest entrance, and tosses it to the ground. Males are responsible for 1/3 of all egg sac losses. Females are not passive about this. They defend their egg sacs aggressively, and the outcome of confrontations between males and egg-guarding females is largely determined by the size difference between the two combatants. Larger females can and do repel males effectively. Smaller females are more likely to lose their clutches. Unlike some spiders, where males are consumed by females during and after mating, male Stegodyphus lineatus are not typically eaten by their mates. After mating and the cohabitation period, males generally move on. Males that mate early in the season may survive to mate more than once. Those that mature late face a shrinking window of opportunity and a landscape increasingly occupied by females already guarding their eggs. For males who resort to infanticide, even that success carries no guarantee of survival. A typical egg mass contains somewhere between 30 and 100 eggs. The eggs are small, which means that they carry relatively little yolk. This makes spiderlings weaker at hatching, which in turn makes maternal care not merely beneficial, but absolutely essential. The female stands guard over her eggs. She barely eats. All of her behavioral attention is focused towards them. She will attack anything that threatens it. But while the female sits guarding her eggs, something horrifying is happening inside her body. The female's internal tissues begin degrading, liquefying. The process is not death. It is controlled self-cannibalization. The degradation is irreversible. Once the process begins, the female has passed a physiological point of no return. The nutrients that were stored in her tissues are now in solution, held within her abdomen, waiting to be delivered. She has become living Tupperware and has no other future. When the eggs finally hatch, the mother, sensing the movement of her young, assists them in cutting or pulling apart the silk enclosure. Once free, the spiderling's first meal comes directly from their mother's body. She vomits for them, a nutrient-dense fluid derived entirely from the liquefied contents of her own body. This feeding goes on for roughly 2 weeks. During this time, the mother is shrinking. The fluid she is providing to her young is coming from her own dissolving body, and she can't fix it. At some point in the second week, the spiderlings begin to grow bolder. They move from clustering near their mother's face to climbing onto her abdomen. They chew through her body wall and begin consuming her. By the time this matriphagy is complete, there is almost nothing left of the female. The spiderlings have consumed the fluid contents of her abdomen and the soft tissues of her body. What remains is an empty exoskeleton. Stegodyphus lineatus females reproduce only once and then die. This type of life cycle is extremely rare in vertebrates, but somewhat more common in the invertebrates. The female's entire life is one long, unbroken investment into a single reproductive event. 95% of all of the tissue of the mother's body is fed to her children. If you like this sort of content, please like and subscribe, or feel free to share the video. If you would like to read more about these subjects, I frequently provide a link to some other materials in the description.